Roll Tide, everybody, in studio, finally together again with Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. It's time for Elephant in the Room. We're going to talk a little recruiting. We're going to talk some basketball. We're going to talk a lot of other stuff as well. But thank you guys for hanging out. Before we do anything else, you know what time it is? It's this time. It is 9 years and now a couple days since the pinnacle of his college football career happened down in Glendale. Man, I've been thinking about you.
What day was it? Was it the 10th?
Sunday? It was Sunday, yeah. I thought it was Sunday.
So it would have been the 11th. Is that right?
Yeah, maybe it was the 11th. Yeah, the 11th. One hell of a party down there, man. And you missed all the fun stuff except the game. You know, the rest of us drank and did shots and saw John Cougar Mellencamp.
I had a good time afterwards.
Did you?
I had a good time afterwards.
What surprised me about that championship game was a couple things. I'm going to share a couple things with you. I did the post-game show with Baron Huber, and he fell asleep like on the show. Like, he had partied out, you know. And then, like, you're like, you know, it was supposed to be the two of us. And I look over and he's like this, a little snore going on. So our friend Colin jumped on with me.
I love it when you asked him if he'd ever been in a fight. He goes, "This week?"
Hey, if he played football the same way he likes to drink, you know what I mean?
All out till he passes out.
Right. Head down, and he's just gonna keep going, right? But we had a great time, man, at the game, and it's so hard to believe to me that it has been 9 years. I mean, we talked about it on the last show, but I mean, still, you know, a monumental championship win for Alabama, and you know, and next year you guys will have like the 10-year anniversary. You get to go. Oh, you'll get to do that this year.
Yeah,
get to hang out with Saban again. I'm sure. Get that FaceTime.
Yeah, well. Bring my daughter along this time.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Who are you most excited about seeing on the 2015 championship team?
I mean, I don't know. That whole team was pretty fun. Yeah, that was
Kenyon Drake.
Group. Yeah, I hadn't seen
Marlon
Kenyon
Humphrey
in a while. Hadn't seen Marlon in a while.
There's Derrick Henry. I'm looking at the Daniel Moore print right here, which is pretty amazing. You're the only guy that signed this. Just realize that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I signed it. I signed that one right off I-65 at like a little budget hotel.
Yeah,
in the conference room or whatever.
They told me they liked you. Like they said you were easy to deal with. They told me a story about another guy that wanted to go hunting instead of doing this autographs. Or was that you? Was that you? Was that you?
It probably was.
Oh my God. I thought it was somebody else. Okay, well, apparently you wanted to go hunting, and then they had to tell you, man, we just drove all the way down here with these. This is print 232 of 1400.
That sounds like me.
No, you would rather do that than sign 1400 prints. Your handsmanship on this print was still pretty good at 232.
Oh yeah.
We gave one of these away at the tailgate show. And
who did we give that to?
That was our friend Heath from Huntsville.
Oh yeah.
And then the craziest thing is that he asked me to sign it. I was like, you don't want me on this, man. And Baron signed it too.
Hey, Mick, you mind fucking this up?
He's a show fan. I mean, I'm with you though, man.
I'm kidding.
No, I'm with you on that. I scribbled on that. People be like, I think that's Derrick Henry. Your autograph was so clear. Like it says Jake Coker. It's such a good autograph too.
Yeah, you know.
Look at that. Let me get you filled up over here. Give me that. You need that. The Mick and Brick beer cups.
Yeah, it does. It seems like forever ago. It's like a different lifetime. But one of the weirdest things about that was after we won and I was, hanging out with all my teammates, and then I head back to the room and I'm about to go to bed. I was like, man, this is, what now? It's like Coach Saban's not your boss anymore.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you're basically on your own. And I was like, in football, what I wanted to accomplish was, in high school, you really don't know. And then once you get into college, and I went through that period of time being hurt, being alone a lot,
right.
through the rehab, and then, sitting at the house on crutches and all that. And then you start thinking about it, what you really want. And, it wasn't really obviously everybody wants to make money in the NFL, but my main dream was to win one for Alabama. And so, the transfer and all that, but, you end up doing that and you're done and you're like, shit, what now?
I know
complete freedom. There's no more real structure unless you create it, just a weird feeling.
Well, I was going to say this, and I'm still over here bartending, but I figured the next thing would be like a 14-point buck. Like a 142
right
score.
Off the bat was the Senior Bowl like the next week. I remember coming down for that, and then it was straight to workouts with David Morris here in Mobile and hunting on the side.
So have you ever got one of 142 score?
Yeah, killed one 2 years ago. 157.
Man, that's a good deer.
Yep, shot him with my bow.
Wow. And I'll say this, man, for like hunting wise, like
I hadn't.
Bow's a little more legitimate to me than gun, but I'll take either one.
Yeah, bow.
There you go.
That's you kill one with a bow. It's
pretty good. Yeah.
That one.
How do you get it to come up so close, though? You just smother yourself in deer piss, or like, what do you? Because they know you're there.
Well, it depends. You gotta pattern them.
Or was it the corn?
Huh?
Was it the corn?
There's a lot of different things.
I'm just kidding, man. I don't want to.
No,
I really don't want to take away from that.
Here's my thing on this. So, and I have this argument with my mother-in-law all the time. Like, I'm not gonna deer hunt over corn with a gun. I just it's too easy to reach out there. Again, you got no problem with it.
Right.
Kind of like people hunting on deer drives. I've got no problem with it either. You do what you do. I've hunted on deer drives before. It's fun. Only problem with that is you end up shooting the wrong deer, shooting little bucks, and may shoot a yearling. I'm not into that, but if you bow hunt, I feel like you can get away a little bit more because it's still so hard to get a deer close,
right?
A big deer close and kill it with a bow. Again, I wouldn't shoot one with a gun over corn just because you can. I tend to sneak around with a gun, and I can reach out there with a gun, shoot them. I'm not gonna sit there over a pile of corn with a gun. But again, I'm not judgmental at all on that.
Now that you've shot that giant deer,
the point of it is to have fun. That's my. I'll take people hunting, here and there, and the whole point of it is to go out there, spend time with people, and have a good time.
Okay.
So you can't. I hate. There's nothing worse than people that try to talk trash about how you did this or how you did that.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about a camp is going up there to hang out with everybody, get to know everybody better, whatever, and just have fun doing it.
Right.
It's not. Killing the deer is fun. That's. It is a great time, but that time at the camp is the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah. Well, you're there a lot. Like you talk about it, and down here, and I'm sure it's like this throughout a lot of places, not just Alabama, but it seems like a lot of people that can have a camp. Like a lot of my friends have hunting camps.
I'll also say this: when you're trying to kill a deer with a bow, and you got pictures of him, 200 yards from the line, and there's climbers all across that barbed wire fence on the other property line. It kind of scares you to not do as much your property.
Yeah, right. Well, is that what you guys have? You got them all fenced in over there?
No, barbed wire fence.
Oh, okay.
Just a boundary. No, there's no fence. It's just a boundary that you can. I mean, a lot of people have barbed wire fences just to mark boundaries. Have a barrier between the two property lines. But
right. But you don't have them on a leash or anything.
What are you doing here?
I'm just messing around. I'm messing around.
There's no.
I haven't had.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, I know.
People 200 yards away from you can kill the deer you're trying to kill.
The truth of the matter is, I haven't seen you, so I haven't been able to mess with you in a while. But the other part of this is, with like everybody's got trail cams now, so you get to know these guys. They're just normally out there at night, like, oh, look, there's Barney over there.
Oh, yeah.
There's Hoff.
Changed the game. It has changed the game.
What was your guy's name? Did you have a name for him? Had you ever seen him before?
I had him on camera before.
There's Biggin. He's back. You know where to hunt. I mean, because he's been around.
I mean, yeah. I can't. I remember when trail cameras came out and we had it on the Polaroid film. You had to take it to get developed and all that. And
yeah.
You literally had 24 pictures, and the first camera, it was like, it was the real flash. It wasn't infrared back then, and so you'd get like 24 pictures of just eyes.
Something's out there. Why don't you tell everybody the story about the time that you looked on your trail cam and Bigfoot was on there? Wouldn't that be some shit? I saw one the other day, and it was like, it really, like, somebody's like, hey, it was like somebody commentating over it. It's like, this is Sasquatch. It's from South Texas. And, and he's like, he's like 8 to 9 feet. And it's like, you can't really see, but you can kind of see. Who the hell would put a trail cam up where a bunch of trees were? You know what I mean? Do you do that? I mean, don't you put it in like an opening?
I mean, it depends. I mean,
and would you shoot Sasquatch? Would you shoot Bigfoot if you saw him, or would you let him go?
I'm probably shooting Sasquatch.
Well, what if you he takes the arrow and then he's pissed off?
I'm not shooting with an arrow unless he's coming at me. I mean, so I'm launching one arrow and then got two ready to defend myself. If I've got a gun, I'm taking him out. And
that would be that would be terrible. That'd be a hell of a way to die. Like you got ripped up by Sasquatch. Like you tried to shoot him, but it just didn't work. That would be, that moment where you're like, okay, that didn't work. like he's like, he gives you one of these.
That would be, yeah.
Like, have you heard stories about people?
I don't know. My only thought is like, God, if you did see Sasquatch, can you imagine seeing, like, I mean, my first thought would be, okay, this is, I mean, Mick's in a freaking gorilla costume,
Right.
I got a buddy, and I'm like, what, I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah. I think that, like, I remember being hunting before.
One of my buddies did see a mountain lion up at the camp about a month ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, they're scary too, man.
Yeah.
Like a black panther. They say there's black panthers. I've never seen one. When I used to go hunting,
there's black panthers. There's a lot of black bears just north of Mobile.
When I hunted in Walker County, and I never saw them, but I would see their footprints.
Mm-hmm.
Just giant cat prints. And I was like, man, this isn't patches right here. This isn't fluffy or socks. Like, this is like a cat print that was like this big. But I never saw one. I did see a fox that looked like a squirrel that looked like a fox. You ever seen those before?
Squirrel?
Yeah. I didn't see, they weren't where I was from.
There's a lot around
look at
here,
that,
especially over here.
There's there?
A ton over here.
Oh, this is in Walker County. I saw them, and so shot deer. Shot a lot of deer. Back in college, I hunted there and in Foster's. right down from Tuscaloosa.
Maybe, I don't know. It may just be my conclusion, but I feel like the more pines there are, the more fox squirrels you see. But
maybe
that's just, I have no idea if that's correct or not.
You're up in the and you guys are watching. You're like, you guys aren't talking any football. We're going to talk some football. We'll get there. But I mean, I haven't seen this guy, and he loves this. This is his stuff right here. I'm trying to be
they're about to start rutting here.
I'm trying to be a more well-diverse host, and so you got your co-host. You got to get them talking about the things that they like to talk about, people. And look at him. He's lighting up over here. But yeah, I mean, like I can remember being out there. Look, I had a tree stand, like a climber. Yeah. Loved the climber, but I always felt like I was going to shoot myself in the head.
Climber's the best.
Like kind of getting up there, just dangerous. The shooting house was the best.
You load it up, put one in the chamber when you were climbing?
No, but what if one? I've been hunting before and got like 3, trucks up the tree, and there's a deer right there. And then the day it was done that fast. Like take him out. But yeah, right. But so the shooting house was great, man. Like I loved it.
I hate the shooting house.
I could just rack out in there, have my dog with me, Poncho. We'd get in there and just
see. I love the climbing, hearing them coming, being close. I mean, being right on top of them.
Yeah, it is fun though.
Getting high, like really high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. Well, I've done I started out bow hunting in the ladder stands just because that was the safest thing to do when you're younger. But when you climb up there and get way up high where they, you're not in their natural field of vision. Love it.
Well, I haven't been invited to the hunting camp yet, by the way. And I know like you're there every weekend. So maybe one day.
Yeah. I mean, you get closer and closer to making it, and then you do something. And I'm like,
I fuck up. And it's like, he's off the list.
Tell me I'm killing deer on a leash.
That's how high school was at the lunch table. I was always close to the good lunch table, but then they'd be like, man, did you see what that guy did in class yesterday?
I got a text from one of my buddies who hunts just north. And I was walking, and this was like, I don't know, maybe it was right after Christmas. I get out of the truck and I'm walking, and the sun's like just coming up, and I hear a gunshot, and I was like, oh, that's pretty close. And then I get a picture from one of my buddies, and it's just a picture, pretty good 8-point, big 8-point.
Yeah,
he has got one of them today, and I was like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And deer just going across the property line from us to him.
Oh yeah. I was at Old York hunting one time.
Which I'm kidding. I'm glad.
No.
I'm one of those. Hey, I love seeing people get deer and have fun.
I was hunting at Old York. My buddy Bull Corey, I talk about him a lot. He let me hunt out there, and like my friends came down, a group of us, and I mean, I didn't even get to my spot, and there he was. All right, day's over. Let's get some beer. like 5:15.
Now let's do what we came here for.
Everybody's like, no way, dude. I had a Revington 700, man. That thing was a accurate gun, man.
Yeah.
Really good gun. Yeah. Had a Neopold scope on there. Boy, I was just locking on. Boom.
Man, I've been messing around with all kinds. I got a when I got married, I bought a Daniel Defense 308, and I slapped a 24 power scope on it. Man, I've been shooting deer at like 500 yards.
Oh, dude, I hunted in college, right? So I mean, that's a while ago. I bet the technology on all this stuff is so much better. That's got to be because everything's so much better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got a bipod on it, that 24 power scope. I mean, if I see a deer, I got deer looking at me from 500 yards. They're like, nah, he ain't shit from that far. And all of a sudden I lay down and just, let one fly. That deer's like, oh shit.
You got married, and that was what you were gonna get, like a gun.
Oh yeah.
Everybody else is like, buying a new kitchen table or like appliances.
Not this guy.
Got the ring on. Now I got the gun and the scope.
I got to get one last thing for myself.
I don't believe that. Oh man, I'm glad you got to do some hunting. And did you say like now it's about to be? Would you say the rut's about to happen? So it goes until February 10th. Okay, so you got a little time left.
Oh yeah, it's about to get wild though.
It's getting cold, man. Are you ready for snow?
It's supposed to snow Tuesday
here?
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
I think the high on Tuesday, I think it's 32.
I'm coming back from Tennessee, so.
You ain't making it back from Tennessee. I'll just tell you.
If the snow might not start until like
on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday morning. What if I leave really early? What time is the snow going to start?
When it's snowing
early.
I mean,
I might get snowed in up there.
Let's see.
It doesn't snow down. When's the last time it snowed down here in LA?
Oh man, last time it snowed here, it's probably been 10 years.
Yeah.
It's saying, it's actually saying it's going to snow around from 6 a.m. to midnight.
Okay. That's a lot of snow.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see if I can handle it.
I'll be 33 degrees. I can't remember.
That's perfect for like really fluffy snow. That's the packing snow. Have you ever been hit with a snowball before?
Yeah. First time I ever saw snow.
You're one guy I want to be on my team for throwing snowballs.
To this day, I remember the first time I saw snow in Mobile, or first time ever. My brother hit me, right here. And I was like, man, screw this snow, man. Let's call it a day. I'd rather get just hit in the face with a football.
Yeah, you must have been small. I saw you throw that mullet, man.
Yeah, I think I was 5.
Yeah.
4 or 5. But I still remember running the back door crying.
I went to Floribama with Catfish. I took him down there yesterday. So get a little something to eat.
What's he in town for?
He came down for a meeting he had, like he does mortgages and he's starting his own company. So he was on he did a show with our friend Gloria, and then like she's got a show, and then he did that, and went and had some lunch. I had shrimp tacos there, but we were talking about the mullet toss.
Yeah, and
I was telling him about the time you almost hit the drone. I wanted you to shank the fuck out of that thing, man.
Oh, I know you did.
And I got to give you credit, man. You threw the most beautiful mullet I think that was thrown at the entire thing. Like,
well, I hope so.
It was 142 feet.
Yeah, I saw
with an arc.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the participants, and I was like, hopefully I have to be able to throw it further than all these people.
For you guys that weren't there, the game plan was I can throw a mullet. Like, I'm not him, but I can throw one. And I was hoping that he would have Milroed it, because Milroe threw one in it.
Oh, okay.
And the mullet toss. Come on, man. I mean, his went like 90 feet.
Yeah.
I was hoping you threw a 90 feet.
Yeah, I had Mick was hyping me up. Little did I know my hype man was my biggest hater.
Yeah. So they gave me the microphone. So he goes up. And did Ryan go first, or did you go first?
I think he went first.
Okay, so Ryan goes first, and I'm like, they hand me the mic, and I'm like, here's Ryan Anderson, blah, 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 like, whoa, 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 whoa. He throws it.
He actually didn't throw it too bad.
Nah, he didn't. Yeah. No, he didn't. And I think his first time too.
Yeah.
And then of course he was the most popular guy there after that. Like, he was in the newspaper, like home, arm around people,
oh, yeah. Kissing baby.
That guy's the best, man. So then you go, and my whole thought was, if I know I got about 120, even a bad throw of mine's going to go 120. I knew that. So if you were in that, maybe that 110 range, I was going to give the guy my card
in the weight room. Obviously, I don't pass the fucking eye test.
I give the guy my card and slide in there, and then you almost hit the drone. And I was like, all right, here's Nate Oates. I didn't want any of that smoke.
Fresh off the Final Four. This is the biggest sporting event he's ever witnessed.
Hey, if they play like they did against Ole Miss, the mullet talks might be the biggest sporting event he's a part of this year. I mean, I guess this is a good transition.
Disgusting.
They stunk, man. They were, you know what? It's not. I've said this,
but here's the thing. Last year, when you watched them play last year, I mean, there was a lot of games last year where you're like, this team.
But they weren't that good last year. They were at the end of the season, but you know what I mean. Like they got hot at the right time. This is a championship team. Yeah, if they want,
they're gonna have bad games. I mean,
awful.
I mean, basketball, you're not going undefeated in basketball. I mean, and I know it was a sloppy game. They should have played better, but basketball, you know that there's going to be 3 to 5 games a year where you play absolutely god awful, and you just hope that those games come against the worst teams on your schedule. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know, but what I do know is I got this right here. This is a homemade beer. You want to try some of this with me?
Not really.
Look at that. It doesn't even have a label on it.
One of those beers you go blind for an hour after you drink it.
This is what happens to people over in like the Dominican.
I mean, where did that come from?
Jay gave it to me. It's a Rusty Rebel Amber. Jay Weber, my buddy Jay. Service First Bank. Oh shit. Oh my God. I shouldn't open that. That is oh my God. The things that happen to you. Now that's actually pretty tasty.
So for all listeners, I don't know if y'all remember, but Mick was really on his high horse about dry January.
He was. Here, try this though. Try a little bit of it. I think you'll like this.
My bet on the under would have won by a few days too.
Well, I went to Key West. Here, just try it. Sample it. Are you sure it's good?
Nah, I'll stick to the Blue Moon.
All right, like look, I went to Key West. You know that.
Yeah.
And I went early this year because I got so many other things going on. Like normally I go like now, but now with the weather like it is, I'm glad I went because the weather was perfect down there. It's even cold down there right now.
This is the coldest. I mean, it's been, I don't know if I've ever seen it this cold for 3 weeks straight.
God, terrible.
Just nonstop cold. By the way, when are we playing Kentucky Saturday?
Yeah, noon.
Okay, great.
How about that? Man. How about going from that game to going to Rupp and having to play Kentucky?
Hey, it's honestly kind of perfect.
You think so?
I think it's perfect. It would have been worse had we beat Ole Miss by 50.
Well, I mean, you say that, but we don't know. I mean, you lose this one, you're 3-2, and guess what? Like you're not out of the mix, but you don't have any more room for error.
Well, I mean, we're making it to the tournament.
Yeah, but I'm saying like to win the SEC.
The SEC regular season?
Yeah, but it matters.
I mean, I think the tournament matters more.
The SEC tournament?
Yeah.
No, come on, man. You don't get a ring for the regular season. You get a ring. I'm sorry, you get a ring for the regular season. You don't get one for the tournament.
Okay, so would you rather us win the regular season or lose the SEC tournament in the second round?
I'd rather us win the SEC regular season, get the rings, lose in the second round, and then roll in the and then roll in the NCAA tournament. I don't care about the SEC
tournament. To me is one of the most fun things to watch.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. And then the thing about it is like I think that a lot of these conferences,
you don't get an automatic bid for winning the SEC regular season. You get it for winning the tournament.
Yeah, but I mean, you get to the last day and they don't even care.
That determines what's most important, right? Because there's actual seeding based upon the SEC tournament finals.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough pill to swallow, huh?
Well, the tough pill is this beer that just spilled all over me. That blew up in my lap. The homemade beer.
I hate when we play in the SEC, but like back when we sucked, I hated when we played. You watch the SEC tournament and you know we're going out in the first couple rounds, and there's nothing better than watching the SEC tournament start to finish, and Alabama's in it the whole time. One of my favorite. I told you that story about when we watched that. We had that crawfish bowl watching the game outside, like 100 people. We beat LSU and with 2 seconds left in Nate Oates' first year. It's one of the best college basketball watching experiences I've ever had. I love the SEC tournament.
Yeah. The SEC tournament's awesome. It is. I mean, I remember, like, you see the Maryland helmet behind you. I grew up a Maryland basketball fan.
But hey, hang on. The SEC is the best conference in basketball right now.
It is, but the ACC when I was a kid was North Carolina, Duke, Maryland, Wake Forest.
I don't know if
now this conference is taking that over.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's no telling what these teams are going to end up at the end of the year. I mean, they got to play such a tough SEC schedule that you got Alabama, Tennessee, and Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky's right there. I mean, since what's his name left, I mean, they have actually improved, I feel like.
Yeah. What I was going to say, though, is Maryland.
Florida's pretty good this year, too, aren't they?
They lost to Missouri by 1. We lost to Ole Miss. But, yeah, they're a team that can win.
Good, though. I mean,
A&M's good. Maryland won the national championship in 2002. I went. Went to the Final Four in Atlanta and went to the championship game. And then they won the ACC tournament a couple years later. And there were people that were like, man, winning the ACC tournament is harder than winning the national championship. Yeah. And they were serious. I mean, when you're talking about and now our conference is like that.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at all these teams that's why I'm saying, like, losing to Ole Miss, Ole Miss is a good team, but we played like just garbage, man. Like, we didn't have any intensity at all.
Nate Oates said it.
It's awful.
You know, that's the one thing that bothers you because, like he said, you got so many seniors, so many leaders.
Yeah,
you know, that should be one thing you don't have to worry about as much with an older team. And if you get beat based on skill and athleticism, that's one thing. But man, not bringing it. That's tough.
Yeah, right.
But basketball, man, you play that often, man. It's tough to be up for every game. But again, there's no excuse for it. But like I said, that's going to happen. You just hope it's on the nights you play teams, or you're just so much better that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And you're not going to win every game, but you know what? The thing that I felt like Nate was upset about, and that is kind of the thing that I thought too, is that effort is free, man. You don't have to have talent to have effort, and it just didn't feel like they played with a lot of effort in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of like you said earlier. I was just like, I watched that game. We're down 3-4. I'm like, well, we'll pick it up. We'll make a run.
Yeah,
and it just never happened. Almost like there wasn't enough energy to make a run.
Yeah, it was like, well, these guys got us today.
Yeah.
Or we're playing Ole Miss, like they'll screw it up at the end.
Yeah.
And then you got
Ole Miss they're a decent team. I mean, they're as of right now. I don't know. I mean, I remember when we used to play Ole Miss, and even when we were bad, you're like, probably ought to beat Ole Miss.
Right.
Ole Miss all of a sudden is kind of showing up too.
Well, everybody's got the NIL money and good coaches. Chris Beard's a good coach. I mean, he had a national championship type team before he got fired from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Ole Miss is the recreation project. Like, he doesn't care what you do, they'll find a spot for you over there.
I mean, in basketball, it should be so easy to flip a roster too.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think,
yeah,
which is kind of crazy. You think about John Calipari. You'd think he'd have it rolling over there, bring a bunch of guys over in a year, and have it figured out. But they're what, 0-3? Are they 0-3 in the SEC?
They lost again, 0-4.
God. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you ought to be able to flip a basketball roster a lot quicker than a football roster.
Right.
At least be decent,
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. Like, we'll see where they go from here on this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have games like like they did, and you're like, well, it's one to grow on. You know what I mean? Like we got to get better, and you're embarrassed by it, and you should be embarrassed by that.
Well,
Not that you lost, but just the effort that you made.
I think that's what's going to happen Saturday.
I hope so.
We go into Rupp Arena Saturday, don't we?
Yeah. I would love that. I can't wait to watch it.
Oh, me too.
And I've told you, like I want to go. Like, let's go to some. I wouldn't mind going to a basketball game. They're playing Kentucky at home. I wouldn't mind going to that one.
Oh, Kentucky at Auburn.
Auburn game,
crazy.
Yeah, number 1 in the country.
That's tough. That's tough to see.
Yeah.
The only thing that I do love Bruce Pearl. That's the only thing. He when I took a visit to Tennessee, and I was there with Darren Henshaw. He was the quarterback's coach at the time, and we went to eat lunch. Him, myself, my dad, and Bruce Pearl would just happen to be in there, and he came over and just sat down and ate lunch with us. He was great.
Bruce Pearl came and ate lunch with you guys?
Yeah.
No, that's why you like him so much?
Well, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Among other reasons, but I mean, I don't know. He just seems to be a straight shooter. And
right.
When we ate lunch together, I mean, he just, you kind of tell when a guy's transparently being him, and you just got that notion or that feel that he's just a genuine guy.
Did you ever see SNL when they did the Bill Clinton impressions, and he was at McDonald's and he'd be walking through and he'd be like taking food off of people's plates? What we're going to do over here is we're going to take this, and then he would eat everybody's food. It'd be funny if Bruce Pearl did that. Like, he reached on your plate and grabbed your fries and then took a bite of your dad's burger. Hey, not to get into to politics, but you got to admit, like, just to change that kind of on that thing, seeing all of the presidents together for Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Oh, man.
It kind of felt like an SNL skit.
It was like watching a middle school lunchroom.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
It was funny watching Barack and Trump just kind of like just over in the corner. Like, I thought they were going to hit like Biden with a spitball. I could just see Barack being like,
Have you seen all the videos where they AI?
Yeah.
What they're talking about.
Yeah, it's been, but honestly, like, it is pretty funny to think about, because you get to go to the White House when you win a national championship. Did you get to go to the White House?
Yeah. Obama was the president then.
That's got to be cool.
Oh yeah. A lot of jokes I'd make if we weren't on camera.
Oh yeah. Did you? It was like when I think the first Alabama player that got to go to the White House was Forrest Gump, and then after that,
Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, it was very surreal and strange to watch. I mean, he went through a summary of our season, and he mentioned me and Derrick, and he mentioned all the captains.
Did he?
It was pretty cool.
So you got the president of the United States saying Jake Coker.
Yeah.
Did he pronounce it right? Like, we were in that golf tournament and they called you Croker.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got it right.
You were hit. You were about to
go. There we go. Just lost another invite.
This is why I don't get to go. No, I'm just mad. That was they were doing that on purpose at the golf tournament. Remember, they were the comedian guys. Come on. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, I'm watching those two guys together, and I'm thinking, like, they're the two, like, of the living presidents. Like, they're the two presidents that probably are the most popular two presidents for their people that love them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
No, not even close.
Well, in that group of presidents that were at the funeral, I think everybody looks at them two as the alphas of both parties.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was funny watching them get along.
Like, I mean, I think everybody kind of, all politicians I don't know, I don't want to get into this too much, but they all seem to be puppets in my eyes.
Okay.
You know, they say one thing, they're doing something else in the background, you know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I think I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll let you leave it there. But what I will say is it's cool, man. You got the president of the United States. Did you get the big picture framed? Is it at your house, like all you guys at the White House? I mean, that's got to be something that's fantastic.
No, I need to get that though. I need to.
Oh, you don't have it?
I mean, I don't. No, I mean, I've got it on my phone, but
you got it on your phone?
Yeah.
That's like a spare bedroom thing, man.
Yeah, I don't print out and frame pictures. I hang.
It's you at the White House.
Yeah,
it's the president.
I hang shit on the wall that's given to me that I think's cool, but I'm not.
Yeah, I saw a deer head at your house. Don't you think that a president would be What are
you trying to get me to say right now? What are you trying to get me to say right now?
It's this homemade beer. There's no telling how much alcohol's in it. Oh man, the studio shows are the best stuff. Because
we end up riffing about shit that has nothing to do with football or basketball forever.
Well, for a while I thought we were gonna get fired, but then I watched people watch the show. So I guess like at this point in time, you know, I mean, what else are we gonna talk about? You want to talk about another turnover for the basketball team? The coach called the team disgusting twice, and I agree with him. Maybe you guys fucking sucked. I mean, what else do you want me to say?
Oh God.
It's like of all the teams to let you come into your gym and just beat your ass, like man.
The text I've worked with a couple of Ole Miss graduates, and the text I sent last night. I mean, just because Ole Miss just drives me crazy. They're like the pretty boys of the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
No, I got
They've got a lot of great players, but it is kind of like a fake tough school in the SEC.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
And that's just, hey, man, that's I feel like that's how a lot of people see Ole Miss, and you got to change that notion.
We thought that Bama would lose to maybe Auburn or Tennessee or Florida. We weren't thinking that we were going to lose to Ole Miss at home.
Yeah.
I thought, well, they'll show up and play this game. Like, no, like, you know, and the officiating sucked. And I know some of you guys will be looking at the fish. It did, but you still.
I think that's what our basketball team thought.
Yeah, but you know what? You still got to score. Still got to make the baskets. It did look a little bit like a street ball game from time to time, but you still got to score. The turnovers were terrible.
What was our 3-point percentage last night?
It's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look it up. It was really terrible. And the sad part is if they lose, and they're going to be an underdog. You know, if they lose to Kentucky, man, all of a sudden you're like, man, we were 5 of 20, 25% from three, and there's your game right there. Because that's part of what they do.
God. And what do we lose by?
We lost 74-64 by 10. We had a 4-point lead at the half. And I know who we needed. Your grandfather. What's his name again?
Jules.
Yeah, Jules. Yeah,
Jules. Lighting them up.
Yeah, Jules would have came in there and he played tough.
Yep. Better looking Grant Nelson.
I tried.
Kidding, buddy. I like the staff. You got to keep it going.
I'm a stash guy. You know that. Everybody else shamed me into cutting it.
I was about to say, yeah.
You were one of them. Yeah, I mean, like you try to put a good stash out, and the younger crowd's like, you know, but then our age and up, everybody looks at you like you're crazy.
Am I in the younger crowd?
No, you're not in the younger crowd anymore. You're past that. You could probably drop down into that crowd, but you're an old man in a younger body. You're like one of those guys.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, you are. I mean, and that's not an insult, you know, but I mean, That's just it. I mean, I'm around you all the time. I see that, you know,
I feel like an 80-year-old and a 30-year-old body.
I didn't have you at 80. I was thinking more like 73, 74.
An 80-year-old.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but you're not into the mustache thing. I mean, I get that. You can't follow all the trends.
We gotta get Ryan and Shank back in here next week.
I think Shank and Ryan are coming. From what they said,
Ryan's coming. Shank, I just gotta make sure his schedule's open. We just had to work around his, but
I like those guys a lot, man. Shank's a great dude.
Oh man, I'm glad football season's over so he can join us again.
Shank would be a perfect guy for a show like this, where we've deviated off the sports a little bit.
Oh, I can't imagine what he'd be injecting into this conversation.
Yeah. I'm excited about this. All right, well, let's talk a little football because we do have a football show. We got Junior Day coming up, and Bama had a decommitment. Talking about the guy that was president, a guy by the name of Barack Willis, decommitted from Alabama, a Moody High School edge rusher, and he'd been committed since July 30th. But one of the best players, according to On3, our friends over there, Andrew Bone, who's my guy, love him, great as far as the recruiting games, anything Alabama. This guy's LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Oregon, Penn State, and Tennessee. And he's not even coming to Junior Day on February 1st. So
must have had some more NIL offer somewhere else.
Yeah, but I mean, even at this point, you got these guys that are committing 2 years early. I mean, the way that things are now, I wouldn't even take that serious.
Time. Hell, there was a kid that signed with Cal or something like that. I think he was out of Hawaii. I was reading that story the other day. He signed and then a few weeks later hit the transfer portal and went to Oregon without even really stepping foot on Cal's campus.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way that this game goes now.
Yeah, what does the commit? What does the signature even mean anymore?
No, I know.
I mean,
well, they got to make rules up, man. I mean, like eventually they got to have some rules for this stuff.
I mean, you sign on a dotted line, that should be a commit. You know, that should be the end, but at least for a year.
I think what's going to happen though is I really think that
they're gonna have to do annual contracts.
Well, they will. I mean, like they're saying that this Senate is going to take this up and figure out something, and it's going to be a nonpartisan deal. You know, so both sides kind of want to do something because if they don't, the game's ruined.
Yeah, it's got in that place. That Carson Beck situation just is so strange to me.
Yeah, and I talked about this on my channel, on the Bama Tailgate channel, a little bit. It really is strange. But you're a guy that I want to hear about this from because you've been the face of the program. I mean, what's it like when you're the starting quarterback at a SEC school?
I don't know if I was the face. I mean, you know, Derrick was our guy that in 2015. But I don't know. I think there's a time, you know, the timing all worked out perfectly for me. And I can't imagine going anywhere else but Alabama. I don't think there would have been another offer out there that would have taken me anywhere else but Alabama. I mean, you know, I just, that meant so much to me for the rest of my life. You know, I mean, I can't wait to take my daughter to the 10-year reunion next year. It's going to be awesome. You know, she can see everything, take her to Denny Chimes, and I think at that point, she'll understand all that.
Emergency over here.
Yeah. Well, you got a keg leaking or something?
Yeah, just keep talking.
We got Mick draining a keg over there. No, but I don't know. You know, like we talked about it yesterday. He's from Florida. I don't know if Miami's his dream school, wanting to go back. A lot of factors at play here, but when you commit to a school and you go there, you start 2 years and you got a starting position waiting on you when you get back. Kirby Smart supporting you, showing a lot of appreciation for you in the locker room, in the media. I don't know, or how much a relationship's worth to you versus how much is, the dollar amount. Now, if he's making $4 million, kind of hard to argue that amount with anybody. But I don't know, if you're a college football fan, I think that hurts your heart no matter what, because you feel like all these players, are aligned with their school, have allegiance to that school, some loyalty. And when you're a college football fan, you feel like you're pulling for a kid because he loves that school as much as you do. So I don't know. It's just hard to see a guy walk away after having the red carpet rolled out for him in a place like Georgia. But again, I've never had that kind of, in college, I never had that kind of money thrown at me to, make a decision or switch teams. You good over there?
No.
Is it still going?
Yeah.
How about we just pause this thing for a minute?
Let's pause it. I should put it over here just so everybody can see what a mess this is. It's been one of those shows, though. I don't know why this thing broke. It's a lot of beer. If anybody wants to come over and drink a beer. This is never happened before. Like the thing just popped. All right, let me pause it. Why I try to fix this? Hey, let me remind you guys that we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use the promo code NEXTROUND to double your initial deposit on the sports book. You got pro football. You got the college football championship game. You got professional racing. You got golf. All these things that you can check out at mybookie.ag. So take advantage of that and use that promo code NEXTROUND to double your initial deposit. And we appreciate you guys here on Cover Crimson and covercrimson.com. Yeah, we had a mishap with the kegerator, but we survived.
It's always something.
A lot of beer. It was like it was like Laverne and Shirley. You ever seen that show? Yeah. Like just like trying to just like drink a beer, like put cups underneath there.
You mentioned Notre Dame, and I was thinking about that today. Notre Dame's been like they're always overrated, always, getting thumped in the national championship. And so they finally go out and find a quarterback from Alabama to lead them back to prosperity. Can't do it without somebody from the South, No. I'd like to know where all their key players are from.
Yeah, well, all of them, they got money, man. I mean, like, and that's the thing you got to remember now. I mean, you can buy yourself in this.
Who would you say their best 4 players are?
I don't know. You tell me. I really can't. I mean, I know one guy, Riley Leonard. He's from here.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page.
Are you?
As you.
Yeah. I mean, I thought maybe you were gonna like break out the Notre Dame roster. Well, let me tell you.
Well,
offensive tackle. We got.
Oh, hey. Well, I'll tell you this. There's very few Indiana natives on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
A lot of Arizona guys on that team.
I got to admit something. You're not going to like this. I grew up a Notre Dame fan. Lou Holtz, Rocket Ishmael, Doug Flutie. Look, man, I'm Catholic. I mean, that's who our team was. Like, I didn't know I was going to go to Alabama, and that's been a long time now.
I grew up in the Catholic Church too.
You're Catholic?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Really?
What makes you not believe that?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Well, I just don't.
We've never talked about
it. What kind of eye test did I not pass?
I don't know. I mean, I think.
Elaborate.
I know there's a lot of us down
Proceed.
here. I just didn't know that. I really didn't. But not that it's a litmus test for me. I guess going to St. Paul's, though, is probably an indicator that you might have been Catholic. Is that a Catholic school?
Episcopalian.
Oh, okay. I'll say there you go.
That's the church I go to now. So.
Is it? Get you, man. Get out of here. I went
I went through confirmation, all that. I mean,
went to.
But I mean, my wife has grown up going to the St. Paul's Church, which I have to really. But
you went to school there.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is pretty similar,
Yeah, look, I don't even care, man. I mean, like, I'm not the guy that's like shaming anyone for. I mean, I went to mass for the first time. And it's because Father Carl was the priest, and he's the guy that got me into sports broadcasting in Boca. And I was like, I like him because he talks about sports
broadcasting or sports betting.
No, well, betting too. He bets. You know that he bets on horses. He loves the horses, man. He wants to go to Keeneland or whatever the horse track is in Lexington. He named, I think we've talked about it on here. He named Rushing Falls, which came in second at the Derby 2019.
He named that horse?
Yeah, for the owners. Yeah.
Where's Rushing Falls come from?
I forget what he told me. He told me, but I forgot. But he named a couple horses, and that horse came in second. So he's really into it. I mean, like,
obviously.
Well, he sends us for the Kentucky, like the Derby every year. We get his like picks. He
didn't do well last year.
No, but a lot of it had to do with like the conditions of the track and stuff,
Yeah,
but he watches. Like, you go to like, I forget what the room is, the rectory or whatever where he lives. You go in there and like he'll put horse racing on. Go hang out with him. He's a great dude, man. But yeah, I got to see him. We went to when I was in Boca, and I going to the Keys, and I came and went to mass on the 28th, and the 29th, because the 28th I saw Bob Weir from the Dead play in Fort Lauderdale. It was awesome. And then the next morning, got up, went to mass. And he's like, hey, hit me on the way back. So I went to a place called Alabama Jack's, put a couple tailgate show stickers up in there. I saw that. You know that. I
saw that.
Yeah, but in the middle of nowhere, Key Largo, and then went on and did the rest of the thing and came back. And he was like, look, I'm going to take you out to eat. Normally he takes me to like a dive place, but I guess something must have happened because he upped it and got reservations, and we show up. And it's this really nice Italian restaurant. But the you don't even know the crazy part. So we're the only people in there.
The crazy part is they let your ass in there.
They're all like, he's like in there, and they're doing all that stuff. They had a piano player at noon, and he's looking at me. He's like, "Do they have a piano player at noon?" And I'm like, I don't know. And then the piano player comes up. He's like, they told me there was going to be a very special guest here today. He's looking at Father Carl. Father Carl's looking at me. He's like, this is like Seinfeld. Like, they brought him in for me, but he's so loud I can't talk to you. Really good gesture, though, man. Great Italian restaurant. The waiters are all from Italy, and I don't know. Some people, somebody's probably been there.
It's an Italian place.
Yeah, Ascension Catholic in Boca.
Man, I love some Italian. Yeah,
it was great, man. He's been like kind of my dad since I was a kid, So he's like, oh, this is my son over here, Like,
you go to Gambino's right over here.
I love Gambino's.
Yeah,
different type of Italian vibe, but I love Gambino's. It's our favorite restaurant. My son loves some Gambino's.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
I used to live next door.
What do you mean different kind of Italian vibe, like a redneck Fairhope?
I wouldn't say redneck, but the place that we went to had like a piano and a guy, and it was like,
redneck's not a bad term.
Yeah, but I'm not saying redneck. I'm just saying it was just a different type of Italian place. Like these were like real Italians. Like you couldn't really talk to them that much,
Yeah.
We asked him to take that picture you saw, and the guy we had to really say it loud. Can you take a picture? They bring in like real Italians.
Well, I guess redneck can be an offensive term. It just depends on the tone.
I don't know that Fairhope's really a place where you would use the term redneck.
That place has been around for a long time.
So you know this. When I moved here, I lived next door to Rick, the owner, and I was writing a book. So I was sitting out on the porch on the Bay House and during COVID, and Rick wrote a book. So we got to be pretty good friends, just talking about like writing books and stuff like that. And then he was telling me about, this is the third time he's owned that restaurant because it does so well. And then people buy him out and then they can't do it the way he does it.
Yeah.
He's be like, this is what you do, da, 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 and then they don't do it, you know, and then he ends up buying it back.
Yeah.
But it's the best. It really is a great Italian restaurant, dude. Like to me, 2 thumbs up.
That's my favorite place here.
No, I'm not even kidding. Like, I love it. Now, and that place, Gambino's, is more my speed. You know, I'm not saying that the place that we went to in Boca is awesome too, but I like to
have a good time, relax.
Yeah.
Gambino's. It's
you know, like when you look.
I'm not a white tablecloth guy,
dude. I gotta. So Father Carl's like, hey, I'm gonna get a Caesar salad. You want a Caesar salad? I'm like, yeah, I'll eat this. Whatever you want to do, I'll get a Caesar salad, right? So they bring the guy out. It was like, he was like making the Caesar salad from scratch, you know, like here's a head of lettuce, you know, and they're like cutting it up.
It's
and
like
then
3 leaves and a crouton.
Dude, no, I'm telling you, like he had like an egg and broke that in there and then like had like mustard and was mixing it in. I mean, and it was amazing. But and they made it like right in front of your table. But that's not a place I normally go. Now, I'm not trying to make myself sound like I'm not, you know, sophisticated enough to be there, but I'm not sophisticated enough to be there.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah. He told me that the church was paying for it, so I wasn't really that worried. Man, when I was a kid,
I just see, you know, someone in the congregation putting, you know, 20 in the bowl, and he's just like, yeah, that's paying for me.
When I was a kid, we were poor, man, and this guy just, for whatever reason, he just liked me, you know, and he would just come get me and take me to games, and we'd do play-by-play on the drive. And that's how I got into it, you know, and when I came here and I wrote,
he's like, man, this kid needs help.
Well, yeah, he did.
I'm kidding.
No, I did. I don't know why he liked me, but then I came here and I wrote a book, and I was like, man, you know, we weren't that close, and I was like, how am I not friends with this dude? Like, who does that? Because when you're an adult, like, are you going and picking up somebody's kid and taking him to a game?
Yeah.
You know, like, why? You know, and I asked him that. I was like, why? You know, I just wanted to know, like, why'd you do that? You know, because it's really formulated my life for me. I mean, like, I do sports. Like I've done Major League Baseball play-by-play. I've done college stuff, you know, like I've done everything that we talked about doing when I was like this big.
Yeah.
And I always wear my championship rings there. I like to just drape them over his shoulder. So why'd you do that? You know?
That's great.
He liked it too. You know, like he just didn't have kids, but it takes special, you know, mentoring is a special person job. You know what I mean? Like to really be like a true mentor. I try to mentor people in the career of broadcasting. Like, you know, I've gone out of my way for a lot of people because of Carl, you know, because of Father Carl, because I think like this is a guy that didn't have to do anything for me and just did it, you know? So I've gone out of my way for a lot of different people for that reason, you know, because of him. Really, when I think about it, it's easy for me, but that, you know, he was adopted. And so he was adopted. He didn't have kids. And then, you know, we got to know each other, but mentoring people and giving them your time, you're rewarded way more. I mean, do you think he ever thought one day I was going to be coming back and seeing him every year and hanging out with him, you know, and going, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he's like older dude now. I feel like people at his church are like, they get him, but you know, he's the boss, you know?
Yeah. I
see him like, you know, feathered haircut, riding around in a sports car when I knew him, you know? You people are like,
it's a bonus season in Key West now too.
Well, he's in Boca, but yeah, on the way. I love Florida. I'm thinking like I hung out with him and I went down and saw my buddy Mark in Miami Beach. And I'm like, man, it's so cold here. You even said it's going to snow. I need to make it big and buy a place down there where we can do the podcast during the wintertime down there.
I love the cold.
Get out of here, Coke.
I love it.
I don't. It's all the hunting.
From Baltimore. This isn't cold.
I got away from there though.
I mean, this is a weird cold year though.
Yeah. I watched the Ravens game, the playoff game we lost last year with Father Carl. And you think I cuss? There was a lot of upset words being said in that game.
Yeah, man. Hey, the Catholics will let it fly.
It was coming out. He's still not sure that Lamar can do it. I think Lamar's going to do it because he's got this guy running the football named Derrick Henry.
Man,
Derrick he's locked in, dude. Like he is so good right now.
I mean,
did you see him? Did you see what happened to Fitzgerald?
No.
He got run over and stiff arm.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he used to play at Alabama, too. He was just trying to make a play. Bam on Bama crime.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Run over.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him in that moment.
Yeah, they asked Derrick about it after, too. I love him, but it's all business.
Man, he is so good, man. Titans fans are like, why did we get rid of this guy?
That's two of the best players I've ever played with. Minkah and Derrick.
Yeah, Minkah's awesome too.
But I'd hate to have to tackle Derrick.
Can you imagine like when you walk back to the huddle and you realize you're going to be on memes and you're going to be on Sports Center because you got one of those?
No, well, yeah.
You know,
I've heard Sal Sinceri talk about getting run over by Herschel Walker.
Oh yeah, yeah, Herschel.
Awesome. You know what play I'm talking about, probably.
Yeah.
And he's I mean, won't word it the way he worded. He's like, tried to make that tackle. I get my fucking ass run over. He goes, look up at the scoreboard, and he goes, I'm gonna have to see this shit for the rest of my life.
So I was a Cowboys fan as a kid before the
and that was before the internet.
Yeah, and Herschel, they made that trade for Herschel, and it was like Herschel and Tony Dorsett. I mean, you talk about a backfield, man. And then Herschel, he was awesome. Do you think Deion's going to end up as no?
Oh, yeah,
you're not a see, I'm a Deion guy. You're not a Deion guy.
I am a Deion guy, but it's hard. I mean,
I don't get that.
I am a Deion guy, but I just don't think. I mean, man, to just jump into it, go straight into Dallas. I mean, my gosh, that's a.
But here's the thing, man. What's it matter? I mean, it's football. It's coaching football. Like the guy's proven that he can coach football. It's getting players to play in the NFL, especially. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, there's a couple Nick Sabans, there's a couple Tom Landrys, there's a couple, Jimmy Johnsons, Bill Belichick's. The rest of it is just getting the players to do what you want them to do, like to play the game the right way, to give the effort that you want and putting them in position to be successful. You don't think he could do that?
I mean, can he do it? Here's my thing about the NFL is, I mean, your lifespan as a coach is so short in certain places if you don't do well very quickly.
Right.
And I don't know.
But where's he failed?
I don't know if you adjust that quickly.
I mean, going to Colorado. I mean, in football terms, can I say, I don't want to offend you, but can I say it? Colorado in football terms was a shithole.
Yeah.
And they won 8 games this year.
He hit it at the perfect time, though, with the transfer. But
people came to play for him, though, man. I mean, like.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He doesn't have that power in the NFL. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
I hope he
draft
goes.
who you draft, and you get who you can in free agency.
But part of that, though, but players are going to want to come to play for somebody like him. they have a decision to make. A lot of it's like, Derrick Henry could have gone to a lot of places. He wanted to play with Lamar
to a certain degree. I mean, to a certain degree, but I mean, you don't have the power. Deion's probably got the best recruiting tool possible in that he's Deion Sanders.
Right.
And he's going to pull people from wherever he wants.
Yeah.
And get them to the next level because he's Deion and he understands how to develop kids. But the NFL to me is a whole different ballgame. It's just, I mean, because you don't have the say over getting guys that you want. I mean, it's like Coach Saban talks about all the time. I mean, he didn't have the power. Drew Brees. I mean, if Drew Brees comes to Miami,
we don't have him.
We may never get Coach Saban.
Yep. Which makes, and honestly, when they got Dante Culpepper, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I mean, just the NFL. There's so many good coaches that fail. There's just. Coaches don't have the power in the NFL that they do in college, and you can't do things the way that you want to do, and you can't.
Right.
I mean, you don't control all the levers in the NFL,
yeah.
and especially for Jerry Jones. I mean, they can't get that guy to leave him alone.
Well, he's old now. I mean, he's on his last stand.
I mean, I agree, but I mean, Jerry Jones is obviously a very, very sharp guy, but in terms of signing people and getting the right people, I mean, the GMs kind of got to sit there and just say,
this guy thinks he's like the boss. Hey, look, I told you I was a Cowboys fan when I was a kid. Father Carl used to get me Dallas Cowboy magazine. It used to come in my mailbox when I was like a little kid, like probably younger than my son. He's 12. Like from, I want to say probably first grade until, I don't know, probably 7th or 8th grade. Like I'd get it in the mail, and it had the cheerleaders in there. It'd have all the stories. It was like a newspaper.
Oh, he's the best. I mean, that team could go.
Dude, this was before him. This was like Tom Landry days, like Ed Too Tall Jones and Bill Bates and those guys. Randy White. But so I like the Cowboys
America's team before he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, they were America's team, man. Roger Staubach, that was before my time, but Roger was the guy, that when the Cowboys won, Super Bowl, I want to say it was like Super Bowl 5.
I don't know a ton of coaches in the NFL, but I did meet Mike Tomlin at the Senior Bowl, and I think that
excellent
to me. There's a guy I wanted to play for. It'd probably be him. I mean, I really liked him a lot.
Well, and I want to swing back to that because he's on the hot seat right now, or it's rumors, right? But the thing I was going to say about Jerry is you don't think he's going to see this, do you? Can I mean, I don't want to say this and he's going to see this, but he's one of the biggest dumbasses in the history of sports. Why would you just not get out of the way and let Jimmy do his thing, man? Like you got in the way with your ego and you ran off Jimmy when you guys were winning. I mean, dude, I used to watch every Cowboys game, man, like before the Ravens. And even when the Ravens were there, like that was my team up until 2000. I went to the playoff game with all my friends and I was like, I gotta be a Raven. They won with Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, all those guys, man. Yeah. And Jimmy left because Jerry was doing the shit he's doing now. Like, get out of the way, man. You're the owner, but get out of the way. And now I almost feel like he had that Super Bowl he won with Barry Switzer, but Barry was basically like, he was like Flavor Flav on Public Enemy. I mean, he was a hype man. Like, he wasn't like Chuck D writing the songs or anything. Like, he was like Professor Griff, and you don't even know who I'm talking about. He was just like a hype man, like out there dancing around. Like the real genius behind it all was somebody's going to appreciate that, what I just said too, was the real genius behind it was Jimmy, and Jimmy left. And when Jimmy left, everybody was like, are you fucking serious? Like, he's leaving right now? Yeah. And he hasn't even come close since then. Yeah. Mike McCarthy, come and go, all these other coaches, the Garrett guy, like, man, come on, dude. And now he's an old man and he is a likable dude. Like, I do like him, but it's like, you squandered it, man. You had like transformed the NFL. Jimmy came in, and you remember this? Like, they went from like very slow, methodical football to like the fast football that we play now, man. Like they changed the whole game, and they were ahead of everybody. And you don't see that. Nick Saban was kind of like that in his way too, where he was kind of ahead of everybody else for a while. The Cowboys were, and then he left, and it went like they won the last Super Bowl against the Steelers that they won, and then they haven't even been close since.
Yeah.
Because of him.
Well, I mean, it's kind of what I alluded to. I just Deion not having control of who comes in, who leaves, contract negotiations, who you want. I mean,
But the thing I think about Deion, though, is that he could convince somebody, hey, man, come play with me. And maybe you get a couple extra guys that might not have played there, you know? And he knows the game.
He's going to get guys. I think he would probably get guys at the latter end of their career that would come there and play for Deion just because, I mean, it's Deion.
Yeah.
He speaks the player language.
Would you want to play for Deion? I know you played for Coach Saban, and you played for
if Shador wasn't there, yeah.
I mean, seriously, me too, man.
I'm not playing.
But I mean, I'm saying I would too, man. I think it'd be fun to play for him.
I mean, like
he's got your back if you
guy,
play hard.
Yeah. I mean, he just, to me, I don't. It's not like I consume everything he talks about, but basically, I feel like he's a winner and he appreciates his players.
Yeah,
and
gets it. Like he gets it. I mean, look, the guy.
He's not doing it for the money. He's doing it for fun.
And that's why I think he's going to go to the NFL, because I think he's going to miss his kids.
Yeah,
I think there's a selfishness that I worked with Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg, right? And in baseball. And I remember they were like, well, not many Hall of Famers like do managing jobs, And it's like, and you can like list them, like on one hand. And it's because they don't have to, first off, right? Most of those guys are making cash. I mean, Rhino would sign a box of balls, and it's like 12 baseballs in a box, and you can sell them for at least $100 each. So it's a $1,200 box that he's just like, you know what I mean? And then you take on top of that, like how much money Deion made in the NFL, and then he's on all the commercials. I mean, he's a marketable guy. He doesn't have to do it. It's not like, like you and me get up every day. It's like, we got to do this podcast. We hope they pay us on time. You're doing insurance. I'm doing my stuff. Like, like, hey, you just hope like, hey, make sure you guys check out mybookie.ag. Use that promo code next round. We need you to use that. Those guys don't care because they don't have to. They'll do it. But and my point is, it's like for him to take the time to be a coach and to go through it. Well, his kids were on the team, which makes this year really interesting because they're both going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Now what? Is he really going to stick?
That's what I wonder at the same time. I mean, I feel like the whole move to Colorado was for his kids anyway.
Yeah. Which is a great school. I mean, like a beautiful campus.
Oh, it had to be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, man. Like, I would have loved to. I went to Red Rocks to see Dead and Company, and I was like, man, Colorado's a good place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to go. I had 3 siblings graduate from the Air Force Academy. So
that's right.
Colorado Springs a bunch.
Yeah. I thought we were getting some of them
graduation,
on here.
By the way.
I thought we were getting some of them on here, on the show.
We can. They're all. One's still in Colorado Springs, the other one's in Vegas, and the other one's in Wyoming. So
I think
get them around.
Look, man, I got Dead and Company tickets. March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. You can tell everybody I've been sending you some songs. You need to go see your brother and go to the concert.
I know. I may.
Do you ever listen to those songs I send you? They're good songs. I'm picturing you in the tree stand. You can just put it in your ear. Listen to a little Brown Eyed Girl. Terrapin Station.
Girl.
Yeah. Brown-eyed women. Brown-eyed
Okay,
women.
I was about to say
Yeah,
that.
brown-eyed women and red grenadine. Yeah, you're right. That's a moonshine song. Have you ever?
What does that mean?
It's a song. Yeah, it was like a song about moonshining. Like moonshining in Bigfoot County, Oregon, or something. But I send them to. I try. You guys that go to Widespread and Fish and Dead and Company and Goose and all the good groups. I'm trying to get this guy in there. I know there's a part of him that's just, if he just would open the door. I always send you the country type Dead songs too. El Paso, Me and My Uncle. That's a song about gambling.
Maybe the 6th time you sent it to me.
Do you just delete them when they come in?
Man, I'll tell you that when I go to a restaurant and I know something's good, I'll order that meal 100% of the time. Well, 100% of the time. Not changing, doing the same thing.
Okay.
If I'm riding down the road, usually listen to a podcast, but if I'm not, it's going to be the same playlist every time.
Well, I've heard your playlist, not bad, in the golf cart. But I'm just telling you, man, just open those doors when you're, next time you're in the tree stand and you're like.
The only time I'll mix up my playlist is when I'm playing in like a scramble with a bunch of dudes that are like 50, 60, and I'll throw on the Allman Brothers.
You get around those old guys.
Yeah.
Little Greg Allman.
And then the problem is they get all loose, drink a few beers, and they beat the shit out of me on the golf course.
Do they? They're not out driving you, though.
No, they ain't doing that.
Oh, man. I was thinking about, I don't know if I should tell this on here, but I was telling somebody about my worst tailgate show that I hosted. And it was when you and me went to the Striker Strong golf tournament.
Oh, yeah.
I just remember doing the tailgate show, and it was, it was a long day. By the time we got to Innisfree, it was already a long day.
That was the first time you've seen me in action talking shit on the golf course.
I like those guys though. Robbie Glenn's a good dude, man.
Oh yeah. Well, we did the drive, pass, and kick, and those guys drove it, through it. We're still out. Still out. What? I can't remember what whatever. But a lot of shit talking, and it was a good time.
Yeah, is that the one where you had to throw the football, and then you threw the football, and the girl was she had no idea who you were. Talking about old. I mean, she was like maybe like 18 or 19, and she was like, "You just threw the ball further than anybody else out here." I said, "Yeah, he's throwing free footballs."
I couldn't move the next day either.
Really?
I was like, oh my God.
That's a fun golf tournament. Then we got to do the tailgate show, and I was the worst host. I talked too much.
You ever thought it?
Nah, man, I was like, just get it. Like right now, because we had a water main break, and we've had to drink a lot of extra beer. We paused the show. The beer wouldn't stop coming out. But it tastes delicious. It's so cold in the bottom of that keg.
Wasn't a bad thing.
No, like underneath there, Ludwig. Oh man, so are we going to I know you are, but I'm wondering, when I say we, I mean the two of us, the Senior Bowl. I mean, I'm getting kind of people wanting me to go
there.
Yeah, people asking me to go. I'm thinking, why not, man? And I don't have anything going on that week.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
get Jalen on there.
So we'll
have some real conversations about this season.
Oh yeah,
so we'll do.
I'd love to talk to him. We've kind of, I mean, I've gotten a lot of heat for taking up for him. I didn't think the last game was very good though. But then I saw like the foot thing, and Jared Kingery pitched at Alabama. He's probably their best.
The foot thing. What foot thing?
Where he was like tipping off whether he's going to throw it or run. Yeah. And Kingery told me Kingery pitched in 97. Bama went to the World Series. They lost to LSU for the championship. He was their best pitcher, Roberto Vaz, Andy Phillips, G.W. Keller, G-Dub.
Another reason to go off the foot.
But he told me that I don't remember. Hey, I don't remember what he said the year was, but he said he was tipping his pitches because when he would throw his changeup, he would do something different. And that I want to say it was like maybe Southern Cal or somebody like figured out that he was doing it. I said, "What'd you do?" He said, "I just did it every time."
Yeah.
So it happens. I mean, athletes do that, but it was clear. Clint Lamb sent me the thing, and it was like when they were going to run the ball, his feet were together, and when they were going to throw it, they were separate.
That's why you on the foot too.
Yeah.
You lift that foot up and put it back down. Your feet, you can manipulate your feet and put them in the right position after you do that.
Mm-hmm.
No time to adjust after that.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't even know, man. I just know, like, you could, he went back and said 80% of the snaps he was doing it.
Yeah.
And
what do you mean? 80% of the snaps it was right.
That you could tell if they were going to run or pass based on what his feet were, how his feet were positioned. Yeah. So, and it happens, man. Like I've just never really heard about it in football, but in baseball, like I said, he's saying that when he's throwing his changeup, I want to say that he was doing something with his face, but I don't know. Like he would have like veins coming out of his neck, like it's weird that people can pick that up. There's a Cubs had a catcher named Blake Lally. Blake's awesome dude, man. Really great guy. And he's like got to the big leagues with the Braves and a couple other teams. Arizona was one for sure. Maybe it was Arizona, the Brewers, and the Braves, right? Didn't stay long, but just a leader, like a absolute leader. And reminded me of that. I want to talk about Dax Norris, because he's a former Bama catcher and another guy that I think of when I think of leader catcher.
Yeah.
Anyway, Blake was managing the Jackson team, and they were playing the Biscuits in the championship, and I wanted him to win, and because we didn't like the manager of the Biscuits, and he was like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "Look, dude, if we play them, we know when they're going to steal." I said, "How?" He goes, "Every time they're going to steal, he grabs his crotch." He goes, "We figured it out, but we didn't run on it. We didn't do anything about it because we didn't want to tip them off because we might play them in the championship." Oh, they played him in the championship and beat him. It's like Blake's so smart. I got a text today from one of our guys, David. David Blackwell, he works for the Biloxi Shuckers. Yeah, I'll put me up here. And he swung over and hung out with us in the studio. And anyway, he was telling me that that Dax is the new head coach at the University of New Orleans. So if that's the case, when I was calling baseball at Alabama, Dax was the one of the assistant coaches for Mitch Gaspar. And I wish him the best, man. I remember Dax as a player, and always loved Dax, still do. And I think that's really cool. So hopefully that's, he is ready to take over as head coach at the University of New Orleans, and they have a ton of success. Now, my greatest Dax story, I'm going to save it for when Coker gets back in from outside. So, but as we wait on him, guys, and we roll through the show, one thing I want to tell you is that we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use that promo code next round and double your initial deposit when you go to the sports book. Next round, mybookie.ag. Now's the time. You got the NFL playoffs. You got the college football play. All that stuff is going on. Take advantage of it. Mybookie.ag. All right, I'm going to tell you my favorite Dax Norris story. I think I've probably told you this one before. I don't know if I've told it on here. I probably have. And you guys might not care. But when Jim Hendry was GM of the Cubs, Greg Maddux was, did I tell you this one? Greg Maddux was the special assistant to Jim, right? So he would go around to the different minor league teams and hang out, right? And man, I can't even tell a lot of the Greg Maddux stories because they're so.
Oh yeah,
I've told you off
egregious.
There. Yeah, but I love him, and I love Greg. Like Mad Dog is the man. Okay, and when you get hanging out with him and he starts talking baseball with you, you learn a lot. Okay, like the way that he sees the game, the things that he did. But I didn't know him, and I knew he was going to be there. And I was broadcasting Bama baseball, and I was also doing some minor league games too for the Cubs. And I was kind of going back and forth. So I told Dax, who was a longtime Cubs, a Braves catcher and spring training catcher, and he knew Greg. And I said, hey, I'm going to see Greg Maddux. He said, when you see him,
oh yeah,
you know this one. Story. Yeah, he goes, when you see him, just walk up to him and tell him to go fuck himself. I've never met him before. So I ended up being the first guy in the clubhouse. I walk through. He's in there chipping golf balls in the manager's office. And I walk by, I'm like, hey, Greg. And he's like, hey. And I'm like, I'm like, go fuck yourself. And I just walk by, right? So he stops and he's got his arm on the golf club, like leaning on it. And I go, Powder told me to tell you that. Because that was what he nicknamed Dax, because of his bald head, looked like the guy from Powder from the movie. And from that point on, I was boys with him. You know what I mean? Like, you talk about the best introduction that you could have. He loved it. Yeah. But he's one of the greatest pitchers of all times, man. I was watching
I love watching those.
Did you see the one that was out today? It was like he was talking about when Andre Dawson got hit in the face. You know this one? So Andre Dawson, and I remember the game because I've been a Cubs fan forever, right?
Which reminds me, I got to watch that documentary on Netflix, The Comeback, Yankees Red Sox.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
The problem I have with baseball now is it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, it's different now.
I miss the real grudges back then.
Mm-hmm.
I know those guys were making a ton of money, but at the same time they played it like
they cared,
old
man.
School baseball.
Oh, they cared.
I mean, Roger Clemens hits a dude in the shoulder close to the face, and Pedro's walking up to his teammate, just got hit, and he's like, all right, who do you want?
Oh, yeah. No, listen to this story. So Andre got hit by, I think, Eric Schau. I think that's who it was. Hit Andre in the face, right in the middle of the head, and knocked him out. And the Hawk, who's my favorite Cub, got knocked out, got up, and then they're looking for him. And they break up the fight. Maddux is like a rookie. And he's pitching a game, and the Cubs are up like 4-2. He's got to get like 3 outs. And Rick Sutcliffe said he went up to him, and he's like, "Hey, get the next 3 outs, and then hit a guy the next inning, because you'll get the win, and you get sent back to the minor leagues." And he's like, "Oh no, I'm hitting the next guy.
This is my time."
Yeah, next guy. So the next next guy is Benito Santiago, and he just smokes Benito first pitch, like. Whoo, right out of the game, like they sent him back to the minor leagues, and then he said like 15 days back, never went to the minor leagues again. He's like, he didn't care about that win. Hey, might never be back, but I'm not. I mean, they just hit Andre Dawson in the damn forehead with a ball. I'm not the guy.
Oh yeah, you better do that, or you're getting your ass whipped in the clubhouse,
or you just lose respect.
Yeah,
but think about this: like Maddux looks like your accountant, like he's the baddest dude out there.
I love that YouTube video of him, and like he's the cameraman.
Oh yeah,
Chris
and the Bryant,
pitcher the pitcher is sick or whatever, so he starts throwing that, throwing BP. And
he's like,
"You want a curveball?"
yeah. He talks like this. I told this motherfucker. That guy, if they ever did like,
he didn't listen, so I pissed in his eyes.
If they ever did like a real show on him, like I don't even want to.
You know how reality TV is scripted now?
Yeah, no,
have to script it.
No, I mean the one I remember, I don't even know. I don't want him to get mad at me, but I'm taking a shit and putting the turds in the third towel.
Oh.
When the guys are pulling the towel. The first 2 guys go through, and then the third guy pulls the towel, and turds are rolling on the floor. You talk about keeping things loose.
Oh.
He's my all-time. I think he might be my all-time favorite pitcher, man.
Well, the best thing about him is just, I mean, it's not. I don't want to sound.
He introduced me to
It's not like-
Sutcliffe. You want to tell me how that went? We're standing there, and he's like, he's like about to introduce me, and he's like, he told Sutcliffe that he's been eating a lot of granola, and when he takes shit, he doesn't have to wipe his ass. If anybody's even here with us anymore, turn this off for the kids. Although my kid will get in trouble for talking about this at school tomorrow.
I mean, I just see him as being one of those guys who just says a bunch. I mean, just some terrible stuff. And it's just like, all right, see you later.
Yeah.
And the person listens just like, what just happened?
Man, him and I both love Satchel Paige. You know, like I think Satchel's the best pitcher of all time. Mobile guy, right? He named his kid Satchel. If Satchel would have had 400 wins in the big leagues, you know, look, because that guy was pitching into his 50s and still was like amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a shame for baseball, because, you know, you would. The Cy Young Award might be the Satchel Paige Award, you know? And I always like that about Greg. You know what I mean? Like he cares about the history of the game too, like appreciates guys like that.
Yeah.
Being from down here, but I would love to get him on the show.
Oh, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Can you imagine that?
Well, because I grew up in a Braves fan.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, I was bigger than, I mean, it was Alabama football than Braves baseball.
Right.
And I used to watch games with my dad, my grandparents. I mean, we used to Braves baseball was it, you know?
Yeah.
And I really still pull for them because of my family, but
you don't have to drink it, but it's
yeah.
It is what it is, okay? It was like a cartoon. Like I was like putting a lot of extra beer. Yeah, we should try to get him on here, man. If we go to Vegas, what if we go to Vegas for Dead and Company and we got him on there?
Is he a dead guy? He comes off. He's
in Vegas guy. He's a Vegas guy.
He lives in Vegas?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a great podcast.
I'll tell you what, you would love Dead and Company too. You'd come back a different guy. I'd be like, hey, slow down. I'd be like, slow down when you were trying to get like the homemade tattoos and stuff. I'd be like, listen, when I want you to go there, you'd be wearing like hemp necklaces and stuff. I'm not trying to do that to you. I just want you to appreciate the finer things in life. All right, let's talk Mike Tomlin. I mentioned this before and we didn't get to it. Mike Tomlin lost like 6 playoff games in a row or whatever. And they're like, oh, the Steelers might be looking for somebody else. I'm like thinking like this year, like they weren't even that good. Like his coaching got them into the playoffs. I never looked at the Steelers and thought they were any good. The fact that they made the playoffs to me is because he's good. He's a good coach.
A lot of help.
Yeah, it's not like he's had the best roster.
I met him at the Senior Bowl.
You know what I mean? Like he's a great coach.
Oh yeah, I met him at the Senior Bowl, and I don't know. You know when you meet somebody and you're like, holy, this guy is all about business, old school kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, shake the hell out of your hand, and you talk to him for a little bit, and I don't know. We had one conversation. But I was like, man, that guy would be awesome to play for. I can just tell, there's no bullshit. There's no fluff. It's just nothing flashy. It's just, hey, it is what it is. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't win in the NFL on accident. And it's not like he's got, he doesn't have Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, we've had I had that conversation with him, and then I watch him, talk. I see the way he presents himself. I mean, if I'm an owner, that's the guy I want. I mean, to me, there's nobody that I've met or watch and where I say, man, I think he's better than Mike Tomlin. I don't know. Mike Tomlin to me just seems like the most complete fit as an NFL football coach.
Yeah. I think he's a good coach too. And I'm a Ravens fan and I was a Cowboys fan. I don't like the Steelers. Both my teams hate them, but I appreciate somebody that's good at their job.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's not many people who have done what he's done.
Right.
That's a tough business to be successful and stay at the same place for a long time.
Yeah.
And, to me, what he does and the way he treats his player, it's not an act. I mean, that's him.
Yeah, right.
And you got to be that way in order to be successful for that long.
Yeah.
So if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm trying to get him away from the Steelers.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want, but I'm hoping that it's Deion, man. I just think that it'd be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, it would be interesting, but
and they're saying like, well, one of my Titans friends was like, well, the plan is they get Deion, they trade Dak to the Titans, and then they get the pick and they draft Shadora. In Dallas. Is that his name?
Shador.
Shador?
Shador.
Yeah. Not Shadora, but Shador. Come on, man. Making me look bad. Thanks. I added an A to the end. Is that bad?
That's some shit my dad would say. That's what I'm laughing at.
Right.
My dad will say, I mean, he'll say something. I'll be like, "There's no way you actually thought that was the way it was pronounced."
When's Bryant coming in? He even lives in Fairhope.
Yeah, we need to get him in here. We'll get him in here.
He's the nicer one of you guys.
Hey, I can promise you.
You're saying he's got a mean side to him.
Probably, yeah. He's not going to make the jokes I make, but when he's mad,
he's laughing at him. No, he's awful laughing, awful loud. No, your dad's a great dude. It's been fun, like when we do the show, like we do the tailgate show, and like he comes up, and like all the people that come hang out with us and stuff. Yeah. That's been like when you look back on the year, like 2024 was a really fun year, and people do the videos. Like, hey, this was, this year. And then it's like all the shit that you do. And I had a good year. If Brett wouldn't have died, I'd have done a video. But I mean, when your best friend dies, like that kind of puts a damper on your year, But besides, it's a great year, I mean, I miss him a lot, especially today when I was trying to do shit and then I like needed him to help me do it, like all the, like technical shit that he would do.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out how to make something and I'm like, like, hey, how do you fix this? Calm down, man. Yeah, you got a friend like that just like knows the answer to everything.
No.
But still, I mean, the show was fun, man. The podcast was fun. Like,
we've had some good times.
Yeah. Got to get it cranked up.
It's hard to believe. When
this is 123. I
met with old Ryan Brown and Jim Dunaway, and
they were like, "You're going to do a show with Mick," and I said, "This is going to be the most fun you're going to have all week."
Oh my gosh!
He's like, "I don't know."
And I got the text from you that the generic. This is going to be the best time you ever have. I was like, we'll see. And then, hey, it has been fun.
It's been more fun for me, though. I knew it was going to be fun, but I thought it'd be more fun for you. Like, no, I love this. In studio is the best.
Oh, well, it's like, I mean,
I can't. You said Ryan and Shank are coming? Holy shit, that's going to be a great day.
Oh, I would be so ready for that. I got to prep for that. Just too. Like.
I think I could listen to Shank talk all the time.
So hard.
I know.
It's just, it's just when you get older, you don't have many times where you just hang out with the guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You just don't have that as much as you used to. And so when you get that, it's like, you gotta appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Shank's that guy. I knew him from working at Tide, but he's just a really smart, well thought out, kind of like cerebral. I'm going to say some shit's going to make you laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ryan is literally the politician. Like he walks in and by the time he leaves.
I haven't heard that now.
Not in the way like not in a bad way, but everybody loves him by the time he walks out of a room. He meets everybody. Like, he goes up to everybody. He's going to.
Given what I said earlier in the podcast.
Not that kind of politics. I don't have that negative view of politicians that you have. You know, I think.
How do you not? Okay, we're about to start another
I'm just saying, like, you know, your job is you go in and you say hi to everybody. He genuinely just goes. We went.
Yeah, which is the exact opposite.
How about
of a
when
politician. He actually like loves people that he meets.
Just does. Like,
he's
he gets
actually
to know everybody.
genuine about it. You know,
like a mayor. Can a mayor, maybe like a mayor?
Depends on which mayor you're talking about.
So you're just cynical, a cynical MFer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird when you're worth $10 million and you make $175,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the thing for him is, like, I go into a room and I'm like a little bit like apprehensive. I just want to know who's in there. It's not that I have a problem. I just like to sit down and kind of just see who's in there. You go into a room with him, it has met everybody.
It's like a magnet.
He's shook everybody's hand. He's taken some pictures. You know, and I met him like at R&R Cigar, like before we even did the show. And
he's like,
he's the same way.
He's
like, you can't not like
dying
him.
Laughing. You know, everybody around him's laughing. You're like,
yeah.
You know, you're like checking his pockets. What you got in there? Everybody on the same thing in here.
Yeah, man, he's gonna do his own podcast. I can't wait to see what that's like.
I love that guy, man. Him and Shank, man. Just, you know, just so lucky to be around guys like that.
Yeah. How did Elma Bryant do in football this year? I don't even know. I'm not asking you to put you on the spot. I just don't know. I know that Shank is doing a football camp down here, which I will tell you guys about.
Well, they are 7A, so
that's a big league, yeah. The 251 family 7-on-7. They're doing an O-line versus D-line work on February 1st, 11 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. at Maitrey Park. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Halls
the
Mill
the Maitrey Ravens.
Yeah, Halls Mill Road, and it's for kids 12 to 18, and it's free. And it's Shank and Chris Casher. So
Chris Casher.
Yeah, I've heard that name on here before. That's Alabama and Florida State. Like, that is covering all of the Coker.
Man, I used to take Chris Casher from, well, I mean, no, you've heard Josh Casher.
Oh, that's a different Casher?
That's a different Casher. So Chris went to Florida State.
Yeah.
He was a year below me. And every time I'd come back from Tallahassee, I'd drive him to Mobile, and then I'd meet up with him on Sunday, and I'd take him back to Tallahassee. Went to Faith Academy. We played against each other in basketball, football.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Dude, if you're a kid and you're like, you know, one of those interior
I need to
guys,
ride out there just to see everybody.
Yeah, if you're an interior
Chris and forever,
you got to go to this, man. That's where you really learn. You just meet people. You know, you get up, you just get around the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's free. They're doing it.
Yeah. Chris and I used to have some battles on the basketball court.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of, I guess probably need to wrap this up soon, but what kind of baller were you? I mean,
that's pretty good.
You've said that before.
But
Jules. Had a little bit of that Jules.
You got that Jules gene.
Jules Monyo.
That is a smooth name.
It is.
Jules Mounier.
I love it. If I have, you know, who knows what's going to happen in life? I think I'm past the kid having time. But if I have another one, it's going to be Jules.
Jules is a good name.
That's a hell of a name, man.
Yeah.
That's the kind of name.
New Orleans.
Yeah. Jules Mounier Gillispie. That sounds like a dude that's ready to get somebody.
Jules Gillispie.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
That's a good name, man. J names have always been, my son's a J name. Well, you are too, you know, like, and well, you guys have the same name, but love J names. I always have. But Jules,
Yeah, Jules is a good name.
Yeah, I love that one. And if you having a boy one day,
Jules,
is it Jules Coker?
Jules, that'd
be a hell of a name.
I don't know. I got Bryant. It'd have to be, I don't know,
Jules Bryant.
Jules Bryant.
I think you go Jules Monier Coker.
Jake Jules.
Jake. Oh, you gotta have
Jake
a
Jules.
Are you gonna be you're one of those guys that got?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't name my kids after me.
So we have a whole family of like.
It would be grandparents.
Little Bobby. Well, you know, little Bob, my nephew, little Robbie. He's the third. Says Robert, Robbie. No, Robert. It's Bobby, Robert, and Robbie. But then he tells us on the show he's Robert. But I'm like, you are not, man. Rob, you're Robbie. You know, all y'all have the same name. But we got little Kevin and big Kevin. We got little Jamie and big Jamie. Like we got all the littles.
Yeah. I don't know. I got Jules and I got Alan. Al. That was my grandfather's name on my dad's side. Jules was my mom's side.
Jules is a hell of a name, though, man.
Yeah.
That's my son's real name's Jackner, you know, but he goes by Jake. And I was like, I want a name where nobody has that name.
Yeah.
You know,
you got to be original.
Yeah, like where you're like, hey, he goes to school and he's like, I'm Jackner, you know, like, cause nobody's taking your shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not like me. I was Mike or Michael.
Yeah.
And Mick now, but I mean, like, there was like a whole classroom of us.
Yeah. My older brother's name's, well, he goes by Patrick, but it's Michael.
Michael. Yeah. He's the same as me. Like, you got to go with a nickname because they were like the whole room was us.
Yeah.
It's a terrible name. It's definitely faded out.
My little brother's, it's kind of weird. All my brothers go by their middle names, including me.
Weird. You're Bryant Jake Coker.
My older brother's name is Michael Patrick. He goes by Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
My little brother's Marshall Payton.
I love Marshall. Payton. Great name.
Marshall's a good name.
The hell of a name.
Yeah. But yeah, we all go by our middle names, and
then people around.
Which kind of sucks because when at school they call roll and you're like, no, I go by Jake.
Yeah, right.
Not Bryant.
Jacob. A lot of people call you Jacob. Did you know that?
And yep, those people don't know me very well.
They're like, oh, you do a show with Jacob? I'm like, well, kind of.
Yeah, my little brother-in-law, he'd say Jacob, and I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, man? Get out of here. See me on TV?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more football, and then let's wrap it up. So, the first Junior Day event is coming on February 1st. And we got one commitment, Zion Gibson. He'll be there. They got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But Tank's going to be there. Anthony Tank Jones, 5-star of St. Paul's. We are Tank. I mean, I may name a kid Tank.
Somebody told me it's between us and Oregon.
Really, for Tank?
Yeah.
Come on, Tank. You got to stick here.
I mean, Oregon. Come on now.
You don't want to go out there.
Oregon sounds terrible.
That's a long flight, man.
Not only a long flight, but Oregon.
Yeah, right. I know what you're saying. Look, I know, but they are Nike. You get to wear a different uniform all the time.
Yeah. Well, what's cool about that?
I don't know. Because you know what? I like that uniform. Look at that helmet right there. Yeah. That is badass.
You get to wear the same thing every Saturday because it's so iconic.
Yeah, right. You don't have to.
When you don't have that kind of tradition, you flip things up to look cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right.
We don't have enough tradition here, so we got to be cool in order to make up for that.
Yeah.
For the lack of winning.
Donald Duck's our mascot. Have you ever watched those?
Our mascot is somebody that everybody around here shoots.
I've eaten him for the holidays before.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched those? Their Mike Judge, the guy that did like does the cartoons. I think he did Beavis and Butthead, and then he did the other dude that looks like Tennessee's coach.
Idiocracy too.
Yeah. Well, he did this other thing like this tour bus show. And You know this, when I was in college at Alabama, I was the Skull and Copenhagen marketing guy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I got this, I don't want to talk about smoking weed on Willie's bus, but this isn't the right platform for that, but this was college days. But I met Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Marshall Tucker Band, Billy Ray Cyrus, Jerry Reed. I mean, a bunch of famous people, Johnny Paycheck. This show, it's old now, but you can watch it on YouTube. It's like it's like these cartoons of like the tour people on the tour talking about how crazy these dudes were. And one of them was about this guy named George Jones. They called this man, they called him the possum because he looked like a possum. And they said it's like he was married to Tammy Wynette, right?
Yeah.
And so
George and Tammy.
Yeah, George and Tammy, you know this. And so I guess late in his life he was always drunk, and he was like Donald. He had a Donald Duck character that he was like talk like a Donald Duck all the time. And they were talking about it on the show, and I was like, man, I don't ever want to drink that much beer. I mean, like if I get to that point, cut me off. I don't even do a good Donald Duck impression. All right, guys, look, this was 2 hours for you tonight, and we definitely went off the rails tonight.
Yeah, we did.
But you know what? There's not. I mean, how much can we talk about how bad we were in basketball against Ole Miss? Let's get back on track against Kentucky. Let's get some recruits in these classes.
We're gonna get back on track against Kentucky.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that for you guys. Now they're gonna do that.
We're gonna put Kentucky back in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, I think they're coming off. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You want to rant here?
No, go get them. Get them.
No, you got it. You got it.
We had the keg break. I mean, like I had to fix the keg. Look at that back there. Those are.
It's always something.
That shows you that we're not in here enough.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's right.
Like we just haven't been in the studio enough.
Shit like that follows you.
I'm
gonna invite you up to the camp. There's gonna be a California wildfire that comes in and just ravages our place.
You would. It could happen. Okay. It could happen, but we appreciate all you guys again for being on the show and hanging out with us. Get in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Like and subscribe too. I know some of you guys are subscribers. Some of them you aren't. Like we're trying to be professional, but we're just normal people that like to. I mean, we do try a little bit.
Yeah, we try.
It's an effort. It is an effort. But like, subscribe, thumbs up. Remember, we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use that promo code next round to double your initial deposit. And we'll get back together twice next week. We got to have shows on Tuesday and Thursday. Can you do that?
I think so.
Because I don't want to get fired.
I think so.
Every day.
You don't want to get fired?
Yeah, because there's some days where I'm like, oh, shit.
This show might do it.
No. Or we don't do a show. And then I'm like, oh, man, what am I supposed to do? I haven't heard from Coaster today. It's getting pretty late. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll try to be more professional next time. Maybe we won't. But I'll tell you one thing. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll.